these two maps for sure on Sunday.
Okay.
So, we can also try and reiterate these plans then. But, yeah, as with the Rhine Orisa strat too, like having enough top to draw. Yeah, I get Chihuahua, it's just that I think it's not like a super huge deal like this one. Um, yeah, and a lot of these fights, they just have a lot of spam into us.
I think that one we just lost because the dragon, pretty much, which was kind of unfortunate.
We
I don't.
didn't,
Hmm?
like, if you go back to that fight though, is that we mostly survived the dragon. I don't think a
Yeah,
lot of us.
but so we used lamp to survive it, but then we dropped, and then the Rhine was able to just like walk on us. Is what.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying though, is like still holding the high ground
Yeah.
and not dropping into that lamp would have been huge. Because in this, like, especially with Route 66 the way it is, if they're holding that bridge area, us finding angles behind them, and especially if we get like a Sigma and a DPS in their line is huge. Um, Also, in this sort of situation, even if I hadn't had lamp, say we had a speed boost or some other way, we can just push harder around that corner and he wouldn't have been able to get us with the dragon. Um, so just keeping that in mind on that high ground is that like sometimes we can just push forward into that room versus completely just dropping off and abandoning the high ground. Um, but yeah, they like by staying in one area, we did give them a lot of room just to collapse on into our main force.
Yeah. I think we should like if we're gonna like go up here, I think we should have like a group like here, or just like even on this side.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's the
yeah,
split that you kind of need to do.
yeah,
Um, and also we can like scout for boopable heroes, and if there isn't a boopable hero, like going around the cliffside is applicable to some degree. You have to be really careful with it because like even Reinhardt can
yeah.
pin off or stuff like that, but sometimes you can get a little bit graphic.
That's fair.
But even if we don't take high ground there, like the tunnels and other things, just utilizing angles because the Reinhardt has to choose who he's gonna block. He's either gonna block the people behind or he's gonna block the people in front. And
Yeah. I think
yeah,
um if we're like mirroring, I think having the Lucio over the brig might be better, but I'm not sure. Um, I only say that because we can have like the group that's with Sig. We can just have Lucio, Sig, and Hanzo just like splitting and just like rotating around really quickly, and then the other people are just like really
I
just
I
sustainable maybe.
I think though having the brig with the group that's rotating is good because she can boop them off or stun people that come and they can deal with that threat a lot better.
Well, I only say that like this against this like mirror comp specifically, because like they're not gonna really run into you, unless they have like the Rhine. But if they have the Rhine speeding into you, you can just speed out, and it's like the same speed. Is like my thought process. Because like if they speed into you with a brig, like I just feel like you just dead if they get to you. But if we ever unloose you with that, we can just like speed out to like match their speed pretty much.
Hey, Cyber.
Yo, what's up?
We're talking about strategies for Route 66 attack.
Okay.
Um, we were talking about sending some people to go around on the top,
Mm-hmm.
like the two groups thing that you talked about, especially since they were running Ryan, Orisa on this minute. So you're talking about having like people in the back forcing their own angles would be
Yeah, yeah.
good.
So, yeah, for example, you'd send a Sigma. Who else? Sigma, Brig, and Hanzo probably works best. Up on that high ground to either win that duel against those two people or get them out of there, and then like shoot at their support line that are on cart while the Orisa like just holds your front line.
Yeah. We were talking, Iman was wondering if it would have been would be better in that situation to have a Lucio instead of the break. And
Um,
we were just talking about that.
on this map, if you're trying to do that split like off angle thing, you could actually run a Lucio just because the Lucio can hold on that high ground and be able to have his aura on both people. But as soon as you guys get more split up, like Lucio's gonna lose a lot of value.
Okay.
But like I understand why you'd want to run a Lucio, but I think keeping your distance as the Orisa and saving gold and lamp, it might just work out better.
Okay.
'Cause if you're running like a Mercy or something, she can fly between the two groups, and that gives her like more safety. She can damage boost the visor too. I think Mercy's better than Lucio here, but it's something you guys can try for sure.
Okay.
See if you guys like that.
I just wasn't sure because I feel like having, well, I don't know. I felt like having the brig in this comp, like, it would be useful if they like ran at us, but they're just like not really doing that very often. So I felt like the brig was just like standing there packing people. Is, but
But that's
like, I
also
do.
why I think the split gives Brig more power because they have to run into one of the two groups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
okay.
by doing so, like, they end up, but like both groups look bad because one of them has a BAP and one of them has a Brig on them.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. That does make sense. Okay.
You guys lost that because you guys were in that like hallway area against their window. You have to be really, really like.
we tried taking the high ground when that fight started, and they dragoned, and a bunch of people dropped
Okay.
into the area, and so that was just kind of their cleanup, follow up.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Those are the debris kind of. About her.
That guy was called so much.
No way they win that. Damn. That was your fight to win. They're running clutch it up. That's one of the nice things about running like a brig in that comp. Instead of the Mercy or the Lucio. Is if anybody's ever out of position or like really going into you, you can go for a quick bash or a whip shot. Like, go into you and you want to like buy more time. You can like boot from that. Maybe the
I remember a little bit on this map though that is this just yeah, William had already been kind of put in, and I think that we kind of let that really mess with our mental,
kind
because a
of
lot of our plays afterwards we started to become more desperate or like frustrated.
yeah. You guys ended up matching comps here. Then he sauced to Echo. Generally I'd say matching a comp is not like a super good idea. Just because the other team could have like more experience on whatever comp they're running. Like, you're just kind of fighting uphill unless you're like massively like better at Ryan or with whatever character it is. Like if you're all special. Yeah, if you're all like specialists of that kind of comp. It's like really rare that happens though.
Did the VOD just not show the ending of that?
Yeah.
Well, there's like 18 seconds left. Did you guys win that fight?
No.
No.
No, we lost. We didn't touch card at the end of the game.
Yeah. It's just usually it would show it out to the end, which is weird because it's not like it was too long of a VOD, you know?
It was also vanilla.
Um, this is another spot where I think we probably would have benefited trying to start out with like the Sig on the other high ground maybe, or like a group over there.
Like here?
Yeah, like over here. Even if the Sig wanted to peek a little bit in those tunnels first.
Yeah, I think I did rotate over here eventually, but I probably should have called for help, maybe.
Yeah, but I also think that to some degree, like having it where it automatically starts
Yeah.
kind of threw us off because we're used to having time to set up and figure out plans and such, and that just wasn't the case in this scrim.
Yeah.
There were a couple times where I know like we got thrown into a match and then we were still kind of discussing. Because like usually you can get thrown in and start picking your heroes and stuff like that, so it's kind of annoying.
So this is what I'm talking about, like taking split angles against Brawl. Whenever they want to poke you to do any damage, they only need to move like 5 meters maybe, and then like turn the corner, fire until they get caught a little bit further and then back up. But if you had a second group of people on that high ground, like right above them, they wouldn't be able to like actually like leave your LOS, and you'd always be able to like set up your DPS in some way to like keep putting damage on them. So basically, like you want to prevent them from doing these like soft resets. So if you go back like 15 seconds, like you can point out every time they're like poking, resetting when they get like low shields. So now they're poking, and now they're resetting. Then now they're resetting, actually. And then now they're poking again. And then now they're resetting. And then they're waiting for their crew to come back. And they're gonna poke up the same man for like kill him.
I don't think they get him right off the bat here, but they eventually do. When we're playing high ground, I was gonna ask that we try and be really mindful of going into the gas station, especially when your heals are above, because that makes it really hard for us to support you.
Yeah, that's true. Part of that's on the supports though, and like the supports and tanks need to understand where they are, like each individually.
Yeah.
So that they know that they're not playing out of LOS when it comes like crucial moments.
Well, it's mostly that I think Arissa was still above, and if when I like tried to rotate to move to heal up our Sigma, our Arissa was getting blasted by like their Kree and their Widow.
Mm-hmm. I'd also like the BAP to be a little bit more mindful of like where people are, because it's like you need to be thinking of BAP as like, I need to be able to predict every single thing that the enemy's about to do, and like step one of that is going to be knowing where the enemy is and knowing where your team is. So during this fight, a Kree ends up going on a flank on top left. You should be able to poke him out, and then make him back up, or have your Ash Mercy duo kind of finish him off.
Yeah, but I think I was also really concerned that our Sigma was gonna die here, which is why I didn't deal with that corner, because I was like, I have to heal up the Sigma.
Mm-hmm. You guys gave up high ground here too. I don't know why Virus had dropped. Like, you're just in a vulnerable spot now. You wasted lamp and gold. You can burn on high ground. That'd be I would end up going on a flank and killing him.
Yeah.
Well, so like one good like thing that you can think about or try to do is have Arissa play on the right side and then Sigma play on the left side of this bridge. You wasted 2 shields and gold before the fight started.
I was actually here. My recordings.
Oh yeah, that lamp spot sucks. That's one of the few uh, doorways in the game that are low enough where if you throw a lamp on the other side, the lamp gets LOS by the door frame.
That is so annoying. I'm glad
Yeah.
to know that.
It
I
happened to
kind
me once.
of
I got really
didn't
pissed.
really want us to play in this, and I think it'd been probably for us to back up a lot faster, but
Yeah. As soon as they get on that high ground, like, you guys have to back up, and you guys pretty much just lost the fight off that. You need to poke them down before they even get up high ground. Swapping to Rhine on this point isn't a bad idea, but you're going to need a Lucio. Pop Valk early at the beginning of this fight. Use Bob to stall point, or to give your Rhine a little bit of cover. Walk up, I guess.
I feel like it's easy to cover flanks when we place split rather than when we're all focused towards the front.
Better rest of the time. Split. Or at least, like, she wouldn't have Valk way too late. Make sure you're Valking early in the beginning of fights, especially if you're going to swap off with something like Lucio. Because, like, a damage use Valk, I just call it a shitty bongo sometimes. That's all it is. Were you guys tilted after that Widow? Got, like, 2 headshots there?
I think we were tilted from the first map, but they swapped the Widow into the Flash.
Because I ended up looking at him, like his point of view during the scrim, and he was just straight up ass. So, I don't know why you guys give him so much credit.
He played McCree the first match and just went out and got a 6K right off the gate as soon as he swapped. Like, they swapped out, I think, Fred kicking for him, which I know that they brought Frad back in for, like, support, but Frad was kind of a really bad tracer. And then they swapped in William, and William on McCree came in and just, like, got headshot after headshot on McCree. So. I think it was on Ilios or something like that, in which they swapped him in, but. I think the next one we were looking at was, Rialto?
Okay.
No, we could look at Ilias if you guys want to. Not Ilias, Oasis. It looks like it's like the only VOD that's not in 7 parts.
Which is kind of scary. Oh, I guess it's the Goth map, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, because they started on Frad here, and then we did really well on this one, I think. Like, we didn't get to the point in time because I think somebody was late to the match.
Yeah, Zerk was like fixing his mic or something, even though everything was working, and so he was in spawn for like 5 or 10 seconds, and we had to wait to do anything because of that.
Yeah. So we were really late to the fight here, but we still won this battle.
Why'd you guys run double shield on this point? Like all together, like
we've just been doing
King of the
it for
Hills
most
is
of the
really bad
matches.
for double shield.
Yeah. That's why I called for the Tracer and the Soldier and the Lucio, so we could just like spin in circles pretty much.
Yeah, but even like a Rhine Diva or a Rhine Zarya would have been better here instead of the double shield. Like this, like those two tanks like force you to play at a slower tempo. But I mean, if they already get high ground, which they're gonna because they're more mobile characters, even if you have a Lucio, they can choose whenever to take the engage, and they'll just engage you as fast as possible.
We've been running it on every map just to get used to it, pretty much.
Okay. I'd probably ask you guys to run like dive or brawl on those control point maps or King of the Hill maps. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it still worked out in the end.
Yeah, but
It was a weird.
you guys gonna take high ground or hold low?
We called for high ground, I think.
Well. Now, can you pause it? Can everyone tell me what kind of comp they're on?
Dive.
Yeah,
Dive.
it's dive, right? And how do you play double shield against dive?
I would say pretty split.
Why would you play split against dive? Like, justify it.
I would say like you would have to like the comp that we're on. I don't think it would work, but we'd have to play like people who can like stay alive for a long time, and then when they could just dive one group, and then the other group just like shoots them from like across the map or something, and just kill them, and hope you can kill them before they kill you. But it's kind of hard to do.
So there are two stages to this, right? There's going to be the poke phase where you try to poke out their dive before it even starts. So your tracer and your soldier are going to be poking out their two tanks probably, and trying to make sure that they're never at full health so they can't dive you. So your tanks can like set up more and get more cooldowns, like get better positioning, and like keep the point under your control, I guess. So like the timer ticks up and you get more percent. And then there's the part of the fight where 5 people are going to dive one of your groups, right? So you need to make sure that like when that happens, everyone on your team can like get to that person and keep them alive. So when you're playing against dive and you're on double shield, it's more important to stick together. The only exception when you don't stick together in double shield is if you're against brawl, which is what I've been seeing a lot, I guess, the past like day. So you guys need to all be on this high ground and getting ready to stop a dive. The only exception is Tracer. Tracer can touch point. Tracer can poke at their Ana or their Winston and try to get them to slow down or maybe prevent the Winston from ever jumping in at all. And kind of like giving you guys like intel, like Diva no DM or stuff like that, you know. But my guess is they're going to dive either your Sigma group, which is probably the better idea, or dive your Arissa pretty soon. Can you go back? 20 seconds. I want to watch it. Okay. Yeah, so one of the things you can do, if you still want to run the double shield, is you can play like a counter dive comp, where if the enemy ever engages you, you can like heavily punish them, and you swap off the Lucio and go Brig, and then you hold on the left side of the map there, in the those stairs, you can put your Orisa on point, and everybody else stay on the stairs, and if they try to dive one person, the Brig bashes, maybe you get a Kree instead of a soldier, and the Kree flashes, like the Winston or whatever, like jumps in. And you guys like all pile on target after target during the dive, and you might be able to survive it just based off lamp and having a brig and having gold and stuff. So I think the Lucio is kind of a bad choice here,
Okay.
even though it's King of the Hill.
Yeah. The idea I don't know. Like the idea I had was like way different from what I'm used to. Cause like I was telling them like just like run around and just like poke people. And just like try to rotate like out of danger pretty much with the Lucio and the Bap, while me and Tracer just like hit their flanks and just try to like
Yep.
pick people off that way. So I think
I'll
that's like, why we're not
give you
playing
guys a
them.
VOD of me playing this map against Dive, I believe. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Okay. Here, it'll be in Aether General, I guess. It's timestamped, so you can just play it then. But you guys can watch like how we play a counter dive comp in this.
Do you want us to watch it now or later?
No, you guys can kind of watch it later, or after you guys are done like watching this map, and you can kind of see like what a team like communicates and how a team rotates. It's Reaper Sombra dive on each side, but it's like good for like learning like how to call map positions or learning like how to scout or like Lucio's point of view, so how to counter a Sombra.
Okay.
Right.
Are you guys still here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Just like been dead quiet for like 2 minutes.
We tried to force it on this map too, but it was not working.
This is the one where they fuck Willie, I think.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like, what the heck is this?
Other than Max, what do you guys think that Brawl almost will always beat double shield spam and on this map?
Can you rephrase what you're asking, sorry?
Yeah, why is double shield at a disadvantage against Brawl every single time on this map?
Because there's too many paths for them to get into our core.
I wouldn't say that, no. I think
Is there not really a good place to set up?
Yeah, that's the
Like
main
far
issue.
away?
Yeah, so the best place to set up is that top left high ground, right above where the blue Reaper is. However, the enemy can still walk to point and hold right underneath you, or try to like push you off that high ground before they even get to point. And during that time, you don't have a good opportunity to shoot at them. So double shield is like really, really bad against Brawl on this point. This is almost like even during like dive metas and stuff, you'd still see like Ryan Zaryas or Ryan Divas, just because like Ryan as a character is really good on this point. There's a lot of cover he can hide behind. Every time he swings in a choke, he's almost guaranteed to hit something. He has good point presence, so it's like pretty hard to run double shield on this point. Because like even if you guys would have to play split against the Brawl, but even then there aren't good sidelines for either either split group to use, I guess. That might have been the worst shadow I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck?
Hey man, you got totally ganked there. I'm so sorry to see that.
No, it's okay. I probably should have dropped the point instead of trying to match him.
Nah, I just saw the diva coming too, and I'm like, they decided you were gonna die.
Even with bungling, you can't get them out.
Does double shield suffer a lot against diva in general? Because I feel like she's eating a lot.
Just double shield almost, like everything that double shield uses can be eaten by a diva except for like Sig Rock, you know?
So I've noticed against like Zarya's, it's not too bad, and Winston's kinda because you could break his shield and then it'll be okay. But like Diva specifically is an off-pick.
Because Diva also forces faster fights by speeding in with DM up.
And she eats a lot of my heals too.
Yeah. The only thing she isn't good against is like Zarya's, Briggs, Winston.
I love it when divas play against me as Zarya, because I'm just like, hey, DM's useless now.
All battery.
Thank you for the panorama scenic view. Oh, like I was in the intro video of like a travel magazine.
I think we made, like, we played this map before, and I'm pretty sure, other than me like TPing up here, we made the same mistake of trying to like push up here rather than play in these windows again. Against this team comp specifically. like at the end there, we were like slowly switching to brawl, but I think we should just like switched honestly, even if we had to give up the Sigma ult. Uh, I'm not really sure though, but I feel like we should have.
I also think that once we knew that they had a Doom, I feel like we should have just gone main instead of staying anywhere in hookah or like the staircase to high ground, so the Doom would get less value. Because the Doom killed like 2 or 3 people or something and got a
Yeah.
lot of damage just by punching people into the back of the wall on the staircase. And, but he wouldn't be able to do much from, or he wouldn't be able to do as much from main, I don't think. And he'd be more split from his team. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should just like not run double shield in that map. Honestly, I think we were talking about it, but I think we were just gonna like force it. But I don't know. I don't think it's worth forcing comps on bad maps, even if we're like focusing on it. If we're gonna focus on it, I think we should like pick a map pool where all the maps are good for it.
Yeah, and it's easier to do that with um, things like dive and other things that are pretty more versatile on a lot of maps. Um, I know like when you guys were practicing the double bubble, I was able to kind of like engineer good maps for it, but this team also didn't really make a map pool, so it's a little bit weird.
Trying to think. We can watch the Gibraltar game. I feel like that one might be better.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gibraltar or Rialto, like either one. And I think on this one we were gonna run either Winston comp or the double shield because we were practicing the one, but Winston comp kind of works better on these.
Also, I think we just needed like default come out the top and then not walk into them.
Oh, here I got a little bothered by this. I don't know if it was the wrong play to make, and that's why people didn't do it, but this Zarya was like kind of alone and low, and I called to push her like multiple times, and nobody else pushed her, and I just fed and died. And so I don't know if that was just like a bad play, like a
There,
bad call to make, or
there wasn't really anybody that could get past their Rhine to help you with it. If you look at the thing, their Reinhardt's still right there, and dealing with our tanks currently. So if we tried to like leave their Rhine, he would have killed us on the other side.
I feel like I could have helped out.
Maybe if Hanzo had leap, yeah.
That's possible.
Maybe,
I wasn't sure at the
yeah,
time.
I
Though.
did.
Yeah.
I know, like I was trying to help you guys with some of the damage and stuff there, but I mean, we still end up killing her.
Yeah, I think I was trying to, but I was really scared to push past that. But yeah,
I remember on this map they had a lot of people coming into us on the back line, so it was hard for us to offer you a lot of support on the front. Especially with like the Reaper back there. But their Tracer ended up dying so many times to the back line, so.
yeah.
I have a brig. So this is a mistake. What are you guys doing right now?
Not taking high ground.
Yeah, you guys are just bumming around on cart. Laser Hanzo, the only person to take high ground.
Who in our comp is best to leave?
Arissa, right? Because she can gold,
Okay.
live
Yeah.
forever.
I think I was gonna call to go high ground, but by the time I like realized no one else was going, we were like already like here, and I was like, I'm just gonna let them go.
Like, it's something that shouldn't even be called. It should be like just done.
And then I think it was called here, and then we took like a really long rotation.
Yeah, look how split you guys are.
There were a lot of times in which we were trying to call to go high ground and stuff, but because we called for it so late and it wasn't like already being motioned, we got to the high ground too late, and they kind of just collapsed on people.
They're already able to like engage your Arissa without the like other 3 people to shoot at their backline. So they get a free engagement on your Arissa, and their D.Va has a free kill on your Hanzo.
I was about to say, yeah, they kind of just like all jumped on me and I died.
Damn, they're about to hit 3 shots on you, straight up. It's just way too late to get to high ground.
I also didn't really have people who could get to high ground easily quickly, so aside
Well-
from Hanzo was the only person who couldn't get to high ground quickly.
Well,
Yeah,
we
but
should-
like
rest
you
of
won
us
the
did-
fight, you had 30 seconds, so get up the stairs.
yeah, we should have just gone to this high ground. It's better
Yeah,
for us
we were
anyways.
smart.
If we do that, the cart would not be anywhere as where it would be.
Just
Yeah,
move
but
back.
you'd win the fight, so
Never
I
mind.
mean, like,
It's more important to position to where you can win the fight and have that cart time than to try and almost pile up, push the cart as far as possible, only to lose the fight and then have the cart go all the way back to spawn anyways.
Yeah, I feel like
I
we could've
also-
just... Sorry.
I also don't think that having I think having 3 people on cart is overrated. I haven't been able to find the video. I remember seeing this in a video like years ago, but I believe having 3 people on cart only makes the cart move like 33% faster.
it's
Or
less
something.
than that. It's like 12% faster with 3 people.
Yeah,
The
and-
only map where it's actually like viable, as weird as it sounds, is Rialto, because when they released the map, it was so hard to attack that they just artificially sped up the cart. So the cart on every map is the same speed except for Rialto, which is like 70% faster or something. Like it's significantly faster for some reason. Game design.
So, yeah, I think if we just keep a restaurant cart there and we just all go up here, we could like take blue box, or like we could all rotate here to help her.
Stay on blue box, yeah. Like 5 people on blue box against what they're running is really, really hard to get down because their Rhine can never swing on you. Their Tracer can't really get on you unless she like goes behind you. Takes a lot of time, and the Reaper has to TP or do the same thing that the Tracer is doing. Really, the only people you're worried about is Bap, D.Va, and Lucio jumping at like up there at the same time.
Yeah,
That's not really a big deal.
because like having people up here is like the equivalent of having like a full brawl team on the bottom, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which you can do from over here, but it's like the rotation is so long without Lucio, it's not really viable.
It's actually pretty okay. As long as you do it like fast enough, yeah.
Okay.
Like as soon as you win that fight, like forget about cart, just start walking up there, leave Arissa on cart, and then put Hanzo and maybe Bap on the blue box, because Bap will be like have LOS of the cart at all times, like during the next fight, so you can still lamp the Arissa, but still put like poke damage into the enemy wherever they go. You guys lose that fight slowly.
The app
Don't
has an
wanna,
OP
don't wanna
man.
talk about it. I missed every shot on him.
You okay, bro?
No.
Okay.
I'm so happy that fried chicken died to me so many times. I have beef with that Tracer and I don't even know why. It's a Tracer, that's why.
This is fun. Good kill. Good block. Stop them from moving forward into you guys.
I think it's the funniest thing whenever someone misses the shield on the bus, you know? And you just watch the shield get left behind.
Okay, so you guys are almost all on card still. Good kill on the tracer. The issue with like standing on cart, especially when they're like holding in that spaceship, is they can just choose to fall on you. Oh, you guys killed both DPS. Good.
I think sometimes, like, we're not exactly sure who all should go up top, and, like, I know that I don't really want to go up by myself.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's the move, like, I want to move up high ground, but I don't want to
Well,
end
if
up going by myself.
the whole comp revolves around your DPS being able to get picks, right? So just listen to your DPS. Like, if your DPS are like, yo, I'm taking high, then I need it. Like, you're gonna need a tank and a support there with them so they can stay up there, and to give them damage boost or give them window or something to like maximize their value.
Yeah.
This is like double shield from the beginning has always been like a DPS kind of spam comp, in the way that brawl is kind of like the tanks do the DPS. Then dive is kind of like everyone has to be able to do DPS. But it's like, especially with when it comes to like double shield, like it's all about like being able to maximize the amount of damage you can do and the amount of time you can do the damage. So if you guys are on cart and they're able to rotate off that high ground to get to you without taking any damage, so you're like at a massive disadvantage now. You've lost the ability to shoot at them, basically. Flux can, no, never mind. These beat.
I don't understand why they beat it, though.
I don't know either. Maybe because they were calling for a beat blossom. I don't know. It was an overuse though. They wanted just off that bomb. Good dragon. This
I'm not
part's
sure
really,
where What?
this point's really hard to attack once those doors close. The best thing to do against their comp is probably go top right and take that high ground from them. Like, if you're able to get into the spaceship, you're golden. But until then, it's going to be pretty difficult because they can hold top left against you just as 5 or 6 or however many, and prevent you from even walking through that first door.
I feel like I should have rotated up to top of spaceship instead of like sitting here. Not sure.
Do you, just curious, like, is there a good, like, a specifically, like, good comp for pushing this point? Because, like, I've noticed that, like, it seems to be a struggle on Brawl, on even, like, certain
I like
dives and
Echo a
stuff.
lot as long as they're not running like hit scan heavy shit. If they're running hit scan heavy shit, go dive.
Yeah. It's good to know.
When taking top right, since I was soldier, should I have been with my team? Because the previous fight, I was on the opposite side because I figured I could get an off angle and shoot at them from behind, or like from the side. But I feel like I didn't get any value.
Part of your value is going to be able to poke them down, because the Diva DM is only going to be able to face either your team or you. So make that Diva DM either face you or your team, right? Just keep shooting at whoever is about to dive your team so they don't have that opportunity. Kind of like what you would do if you're a Tracer against dive, is like poke them down so that they're not able to dive, so your team's able to make this rotation, which I think is better if you played apart from your team here, as soldier at least. It's a little
Okay.
hard because they do have the Never mind. I thought they were on Widow still. Yeah, stay soldier, go top left, and try to poke them down. Who's there right now? Oh, Hanzo. Where Hanzo is.
Okay, that's where I was last fight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we were flipped last fight. I honestly think if I like went up here, we would have been able to win that fight a lot easier because I could have just like poked anyone out who tried to come through that door.
The only issue is if that D.Va dives, you can only rely on the rig packs to keep you alive then. Use Bongo and Flux at the same time, which are 2 fight-winning ultimates, like, each. So, one of the things I always like to call, whenever the enemy's running BAP and you need to go for a Flux or something, to, like, get the kills, you need to send one of your DPS on a flank and, like, let them know that, hey, we're gonna pull Flux, I need Hanzo to break lamp, so Hanzo get in spaceship or something, right? Just like plan for what the enemy's about to do and try to counter that too. And you guys have not been playing like shit basically. At least in the scrim that I saw. But that's something y'all can fix. Like this fight could have been totally winnable. I think you would have killed the Reaper and the Lucio here with that Flux if that lamp never came, or if that lamp dropped in time. And one thing to consider whenever you're using an alt like visor, you need to be on the flank, or you don't always need to be on the flank. But when both teams or both tanks of the enemy team are between you and the enemy team, they're not gonna let you put like any damage into them. So make sure team's either pushing them when you visor, or you're on the flank and their tanks can't peel for their team, for their backline when you visor.
Okay.
Like, don't just visor because you have Bongo, because this was actually a really bad Bongo. You guys aren't able to push through this.
Where is it? Oh, it's on the outside.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. I gotta do some work.
Alright.
I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
See ya.
See?
Bye, Cyber.
I think we just need like full pull out here, rather than sitting there because you're down two already.
We can finish up this map and then finish up. We've already looked at 3 maps now. Fine. I think we got a lot of information from all of them. You said you recorded it.
Yeah,